Hello, hello, hello.
I know it's late, but for all you mothers, happy Mother's Day.
Yes, thank you for that, Jim Hicks. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
Happy Mother's Day, everybody.
Mother's Day.
Jonesville, Louisiana.
I emailed out today saying Happy Mother's Week because I know mothers don't celebrate one day. I already know how that works.
Thank you very much. Amen.
That's right. That's right. Every
They
day.
shouldn't celebrate.
Hey, anything celebrating women, I don't care whether it's your birthday, anniversary, Mother's Day, anything else. It's not gonna be one day. It's gonna be a week.
Mother's Day, all the mothers.
It's Air Day. Air Day.
Every day. I got you. I got you. So I'm gonna mention real quickly some things we're gonna talk about, and then Sharanda's gonna start with her introduction for herself, and then we're gonna go right into an interview, and then we're gonna go into some information here. So again, thank you guys all for joining us and for being on promptly every week and just having a good time with us on this call. I think, man, we are on like more than 4 years with this call, guys. And it's just, absolutely great. The Facebook page is growing as well. So we appreciate all you guys telling other people, putting your teams to the page, all those different things that you all do to make this all work. So thank you guys so much for that. So today we're going to be talking a little bit about intentionally cross-selling. Selling other plans when you're going to do CDL. We're going to talk a little bit about that. And we're going to get started with a quick kind of an interview. So if you guys been to the Facebook page, you see John Hoffman is working with a new associate. They just opened up a group. And if you haven't gotten a chance to see that, run to that page and take a look at it. But we're going to be talking to those two individuals today. They are driving back from that appointment right now in the car. So we're going to be talking to them about their success in opening that group, what happened, how, what steps they took to do it, and what it is to be in the field training situation, which I love those situations because that is not a legal shield thing. That is a life thing. You should always have somebody that knows more than you do, that can take away the learning curve. And yes, you have to lose some of your deal to learn how to do your deals better, right? That's called smart business. So we're going to talk a little bit about that here as well in the process of that interview before we get moving into all of the information on cross-selling. So we're on YouTube Live already. We're ready to go there. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Sharanda. So Sharanda can start with her introduction, and then we'll go from there.
Well, good evening, everyone. Happy Mother's Day, as they said, to everyone. And happy Monday. It is May 9th, so the month is running away already. So I'm Sharanda Ivy. I'm the CDLP state trainer. I'm based here out of Georgia, 50K ring earner. I am a 2-time recipient of the Ladies of Justice Award, #1 field trainer. And we've earned our 1,000 app award. We're coming up on 2,000 actually. And we're Emery Elite associates here with Legal Shield. And we, like I said, focus on this space here. We were recognized at corporate with a lot of different, just achievements last year. But those achievements came from this space, just learning my major and my minor, focusing on CDL. And then just as Dunbar said, we're talking about cross-selling today. And that's one thing that I did a lot of with the small business plan, adding the HBS as well. Because in this space, those drivers definitely have a lot of tax problems that we can definitely help them with. And servicing that entire client. You'll learn that one client, you can, service them with a lot of different products. And it doesn't have to all be at once, but we'll definitely talk about that today. And so I just wanted you to know that focusing on just one industry, making one industry your major and maximizing that, and level 1 definitely teaches you that. And so that's why we were able to be the #2 new groups open, but it was all in this space, all in CDL, focusing on those small trucking companies here But when I wasn't making groups, I was doing my direct sales with the Ladies of Justice division. And so we got number 4 on our direct sales. So it's not all about group, referrals and all that as well. So Legal Shield just gives us a wheel of opportunity, and we just must maximize that. And so I know you all are here to learn some of those skills, and we hope we can reach you by sharing that with you. I do hope to host the accountability call on Thursday nights. And that call is at 9:30 after everybody's team call and our corporate, calls are out of the way. It's a mastermind host. And I host that with individuals who are working in that space and want some accountability. It's not recorded, so you can't find that anywhere, because masterminding and accountability is about showing up. So if you're doing some active work, we hope to see you there eventually. The sign up is on the CDLP page, and we look forward to seeing you there. So with that, Dunbar, I pass it back over to you so you can introduce yourself and we can start the interview. I know John is in the car with Amin. I think it's Amin. I did it right?
That's right.
Amin. Yep. And so Dunbar, I'm gonna turn it back over to introduce yourself. See, I heard that name on the slide and I said it right. Just like that. Amin.
All right, good stuff. Well, I know that you guys, I know, you have a call to get on at 8:30 yourself. So we're gonna go ahead and get started with this. So just so you all know, they just opened up a group, and I'm gonna let them explain what they did, what happened, and then we may ask them a couple of questions. When you need to jump off, just give us a thumbs up, let us know, so that we don't hold you up. We know you got a team call to get on as well, and we know you guys are traveling back as well. So make sure you guys are being safe and you guys doing that. So if you go ahead and introduce yourself, that'll be fantastic. Got about 60 people on here, plus some people on YouTube, all looking at you live, man. No pressure.
Thank you. Appreciate that. My name is Amin. I've been a Legal Shield associate since last November, and I've been a member for a couple of years, and since November, I've been an active associate, been PC qualified every month, building my business, and more importantly, learning from people who are already in the business. And I happen to be fortunate enough to be relatively close to where John Hoffman lives in Southern California in San Diego. And this is my third field training trip with him. Today, we had the most successful enrollments today. We helped about 7 drivers with getting, CDLP legal services to protect them all across 50 states. Also opened up a group account with a small business plan and potentially a few more driver enrollments with the company. So that was a bonus. And I just want to say I have a lot of respect and really want to thank all the field trainers for doing this work and being generous with their time and wisdom. And happy Mother's Day to everybody who's a mother, and just wanted to present that as well. A couple of things was I learned a lot today in terms of what I knew in 2 days of field training versus today, where we had the most number of enrollments. When the action is real, it's quick, and also once drivers are seeing other drivers being enrolled, they're curious. They come over to a booth, and almost every driver has a challenge. It was really interesting to see what objections people had. And there was a driver who never signed up because he had never gotten a ticket in 30 years of driving, and he's 5 months close to retirement, and he got a ticket. And he had another competition service with another competition, but he switched over because of the value and the beneficial features of the CDLP plan that Legal Shield offers. So I encourage everyone to spend time getting a little bit more educated on what competition is there, and also how much more value the drivers on the road are getting with the CDLP plan. And plus, they're also protected when they're driving their everyday cars on the road as well. And the spouses, if they're married, are covered as well. So piling value on top of value and letting them know it's $1 a day was just such a blast. So I don't know what more I can share. I could keep going on.
No, and we're gonna ask you a couple of questions. I'm gonna pitch it back and forth between me and Sharanda. The first question that I have for you is because this is a big deal for me, which is the field training portion of it. So you've been in the company for a year. This is your third outing with John Hoffman. There are
Correct.
people that's been in the business for quite some time, and they still don't understand the value of working with a field trainer. And they feel like, well, if I work with a field trainer, I have to give up half my group. I don't want to lose that money. I'll do it on my own. What would you say to that person because you've been working with John Hoffman?
I'll tell you, I verbatim said this to John. There's no other way I would do this. As a relatively new associate, there's no other way I would walk into a business to set an appointment to do an open group enrollment or share anything without a field trainer. There's ins and outs that we are not aware of. There's best practices that we are not aware of, and also we are shadowing them and we are kind of buffering off of their expertise and their confidence and their awareness. And the opportunity to ask John questions that keep coming up while I'm filling out forms and the amount of growth is amazing. He's got 15 years of expertise in this. So it was priceless. I mean, splitting half of the commission is I'm happy to do that. But then that's personally myself, because there's a lot of learning involved in it. And and plus we get a $500 bonus for opening up your group. It's a win-win-win situation.
See, you said $500 bonus. I cut my camera on. So let's make sure you guys focus on that $500 bonus. So I'll turn it over to Sharanda in case Sharanda have any questions about what you guys did.
No, I mean, he said it, the experience, just being able to ask questions, just working with associates. Associates have a lot of questions, but, he was, like he talked about, being in the room and then how fast the enrollment goes and things like that. That was huge because, so now, right now, we're, I'm still virtual, but it's fast. And on the phone is fast too, but when you're in the midst of that enrollment, the adrenaline is rushing. And, if you're there by yourself, I can only imagine what would happen, and so maybe Amin can talk to that, thinking if John wasn't there, what would be some of the challenges that he would have had, with John not being there.
Sure. I think there's two points I want to bring up. One is actually with communicating with a new member, and when we're effectively able to share the value with the plan, with just a few points. We don't need to go over everything, but the main few points, starting with ticket, and having an attorney go out and take care of it, how they're able to do it. From effectively communicating that, then there is the process of getting their information correctly, asking them questions about if they have a spouse, letting them know a little bit about member perks, and then filling out the forms and submitting it. Like that is very key to making sure that they have a smooth enrollment, and also following up with them, letting them know that their paperwork has been processed, and having a personal touch with that driver, because they're trusting our legal shield and their attorneys to take care of them if something happens. So building that rapport and smoothly processing our paperwork is super key. And we, there was at one point, there were, I think, like 3 or 4 people, and there was people on the phone they were referring people to, and we're writing information down, write legibly, make sure that you get information correctly, transferring that into the back-end office, etc., is key. So with a field trainer, it's gonna make your life a lot more simpler, and also easier to do the process and have success. Looks like you're muted, Shonda. There you go.
No, I just said good stuff. Back over to Dunbar. He's done. Dunbar.
I'm here. For some reason, my camera's acting up. So, but don't worry about it. I'll get it straightened out. So, another quick question for you. So let's go back to the beginning. All the way back to the beginning. How did you find this opportunity with this company, and how did you get hooked up with John as the field trainer to work with you in this deal? So the people that say, well, how did they get together in the first place? They live next door, right? So how does that work?
Sure. I'll give a little bit of a background. I was introduced to the associate opportunity by a paralegal who I had actually paid $400 once to do paperwork for me for 1 hour. And he's actually in my upline, and he's a team leader. And that's how I got, I was introduced to the opportunity and joined the Legal Shield team. To answer your second part, I got an email blast from Brenda, who's, I think, in charge of the West Coast regions. She overlooks the West Coast region trainings, and she referred me to John, and I emailed John, got in touch with him, and he was responsive. Thank you so much for that. And we jumped right away into doing a Zoom, and spending about 20-30 minutes just trying to connect and figure out how we can meet up. And we put a game plan together, and next thing you know, we're on our way to setting up appointments with companies, following up. And the first couple of days, I was so fresh and new. There was appointments where I didn't even speak anything. I was just observing and listening. And then once we stepped out from the office, I would ask John questions and like, hey, what was that? What was this? Because there's so many ins and outs, and working with an experienced trainer, they have so much skin in the game, and they're aware of what's on the plate for business owners, and especially in CDLP, there are truck drivers facing all kinds of issues, and every stop at an appointment was a different story. So just going through the motions. It all sinks in, and it registered, I think, a lot more today than my first 2 times. So that's my 2 cents.
No, that's good. That's excellent. That's excellent. And I'm glad that you went out that many times. You guys may go out again, but going out several times, you keep learning, and it's just a really good process. And it takes all of the weight off, and it takes the anxiety and the pressure away, because you're not wondering if something's going to happen that you don't know how to deal with, because you know that there's someone with you that does know how to deal with it, right? And going out as a team always works better anyway, even if the 2 people both don't really know what they're doing. when you're on a team and there's 2 of you guys, it just makes you feel better anyway. So it's even better when you've got somebody who's skilled, experienced, more than a decade in the business. So that's been fantastic. Sharanda? Oh, okay, go ahead. Can you say something?
I'm good.
Good?
Yeah.
All right, good stuff. So I know it's 8:57. I know you got another call to get on here in about 3 minutes. So thanks again for giving us some of your time. We appreciate you talking with us here. and just major success in what you're doing. Major congratulations. We look forward to hearing you again on the call, doing another testimonial as you continue to grow that group. Hopefully a situation to be like our June's, where he came on once and talked about a group he was opening and then kept coming back because he kept adding more, and now he's one of the top CDL sellers, guys. So really hope the same thing for you, Armin. Appreciate your time, appreciate your energy. Until John over there, we said drive safe, and thank you for being a fantastic field trainer and giving us a great name as field trainers. Because we hear sometimes some bad stories about this person did this person said that. So it's always great to hear a good testimonial when somebody, especially one of our CDL certification trainers, goes out, helps somebody's open a group and gets a great review like you just got from Armin. So thank you, guys.
Right. Learn already do. Got my CDLP certification class May 21st.
Good
Ooh, we're promoted for you, John.
Absolutely. Yep. So if you guys haven't gotten registered for that, we've got the CDLP coming up on the 21st of May. So make sure you get registered for that training. If you have not been certified or you want a refresher course, the guy that just helped me open up a group and get a $500 bonus is going to be training alongside Mr. Alan Roman. So please make sure you get registered for that. If you don't know how to do it, go to the LS Engage. As a matter of fact, before we finish out here, at some point, we'll throw it in the chat, the link to go and register for that certification training. We'll also have it on the Facebook page as well. So make sure you get registered for that. So let's talk a little bit about intentionally cross-selling and why you should be doing that, how you should be doing that, and all those things. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put Sharanda on the spot real quick while I open up my other camera. Yeah, I know, I was gonna do that. So we'll first start with you, just because I know that not only do you cross-sell, but you've been known for actually starting out with the small business plan and then going into the CDL when you opened up the group, which is intentionally cross-selling, because that's a plan. She's going in to offer the small business plan, and then she's going after the CDL plan. So let's talk about it from that angle. We'll also talk about how when you're in the group offering the family plan as well as the CDL, so that you can cross-sell. But you want to intentionally cross-sell, not just let it happen. Not somebody just say, hey, so what else do you have? Or you have a general conversation with somebody and end up selling another plan. How do you go in and intentionally cross-sell? Because the easiest sale to make is to a current customer. That's just sales. It's always easier to call somebody who already has your service and sell them something else. So when you're closing the deal, being able to cross-sell them to something else makes a lot of sense. So Ms. Sharanda, I'm gonna turn it over to you.
Well, I learned early on that I was focused on the small groups. So when I'm talking to the person when I call the number, I'm normally talking to the owner. And I learned quickly that everybody don't like their drivers. So, and also I learned that, well, I felt that if I could show the value to the owner, definitely he would let me talk to his employees, because the value would be that I'm helping the company, not necessarily the drivers, but the company. And so therefore, it was easier for me to, ask questions more about the business because the violations are the business too, right? It's just that they're written up under the drivers. Every now and then they come in the company's name, but all that's the company. And so showing him the value of what we offer and just asking questions about the business in general, asking business questions in ways that he could use the business plan. I just found that it was easier to show the value to him and how we could help with that business plan or give him that protection, because one of my biggest points, of course, is lawsuits with that small business plan. Every transportation company, whether it's a fender bender, no dents, no nothing, 9 times out of 10, that person has on their mind about a lawsuit. And so just to give them that ability to have that protection would be beneficial for them. So that's what I found was easy for me, and just asking questions. I used to focus on the debt collection, but I learned quickly that a lot of companies had factoring companies and they really didn't have debt collections. So I had to switch that wording around, was saying, I know you probably have a factoring company, but do you have any outstanding debts when it comes to other vendors outside of the brokers? So it was all about learning. Everything that I've taught and trained on and shared is about actually going through the motion of learning. So if I said it one way and I got an objection, I use that objection for the next person. So if I said, you know, do you have any debt collection? They're like, oh no, I get paid because I get paid through my factoring company. So the next client would be, I know you have a factoring company, but do you have any outstanding debts? Because sometimes they don't always start with that type of company, or they have other people that owe them, you know, outside of just, you know, the freight, moving the freight. So all that came with learning and asking questions. So that's how I started with the small business plan, Dunbar.
Can you hear me?
I see you.
You see.
Yep. I
Can
hear
you
you
hear
too.
me? Okay,
Yep.
good. All right. So I just cut on a different camera, so a different angle, but you know, whatever. So no, and that's good. That's good for those who want to take that approach, going in with the small business and selling the CDL does make a lot of sense. So some other things that you can do when you're going into a company is learn how to transition that sale from the CDL to the family plan. And there's different ways of doing that. And me and Sharando will pitch a couple of ways back and forth. I may actually put Sharon, I know Sharon was driving. I might put Sharon in to talk about a couple of pitches too. But different things that we do to pitch back and forth to go from one sale to the other. So some things that some ways I like to bridge that myself. So if I'm having a conversation with someone about the CDL membership, how do I turn that conversation into the family plan? It could be one, the emergency button, because they don't have one with the CDL plan. So I will let them know that if they have an emergency, they want to have the family plan so that they can call the law firm at any given time, as long as this is not a CDL issue. That's one way that I'll transition that sale over. The other way is about protecting their family while they're on the road. If I'm talking to an over-the-road truck driver, let's say the over-the-road truck driver happens to be Sharanda Ivy, and I'm having a conversation with her about protecting her CDL license, and I say, look, do you have a family at home? And she says, yeah, I've got 2 kids, and I got a husband at home, and he's got a full-time job. I'll say, well, if something happens legally while you're on the road, you want to make sure that he can pick up the phone and call an attorney and make sure everything's good as far as the family is going. There may be something that's going on that you don't have the time to call about because you're on the road. It might be something that hit you that's family, and you might be able to pick up the phone and call your significant other and say, hey, go ahead and call a law firm because I just got a phone call about this, or I just got an email about this. And then that driver says to me, so how does the family plan work? And then I explain the family plan, and then I add that into that group sale or that individual. So if it's not a group and I'm just selling the individual plan to a person, so I can do it that way as well. But you have to find a lead in to connect those two plans. You are definitely doing a disservice for that driver if you just sell them a CDL, or if you sell a family plan to a person who drives CDL and don't make that CDL sale. Don't make it as simple for them to just choose one. If a person says, well, can I just get one? Can I just get the one? And then we said, well, of course you can just get the one. Well, yes, we know that they can, but it's not a good idea to tell them that they can in that way without letting them know why it's dangerous to not have both. So if I'm talking to Sharanda and Sharanda says, well, but if I get the CDL plan, but that'll protect my CDL, so do I have to get the family plan as well? I'll say, no, you don't have to get the family plan, but it's important to get the family plan because you want to make sure that if any life events hit you, that you have coverage as well. You don't want to just protect your CDL. You want to make sure that things that's happening on the home front are covered too. And that's what you do with the family plan. You want to make sure that if the children have any issues, right, that they're covered with the family plan. And if the question comes up, oh, well, my kids are, they're 9 years old and they're 13 years old or whatever, because I hear that a lot, right? They say that their kids are underage and they wouldn't need access to an attorney. And that's just simply not the case. It's not the case. So when that person says, well, my kids are young, well, you want to tell them, look, it doesn't matter how old your kids is. Legal situations could come up and your kid can have something to do with it. And you want to make sure that you have them on that plan in case anything happens, right? You always want to make sure that happens. I mean, a kid can get a driver's license at 16 years old. They can in the state of Florida, right? So you want to make sure that that child has access to an attorney. You just never know the situation that might happen, and you're covering the kids at no cost anyway. So you want to transition that sale. But when you go in to make the sale, you have to have your mind already set for that. Don't go in to make the CDL sale and just be thinking, I gotta make the CDL sale. Think about our whole program and how you're protecting that driver all together. So be prepared to transition that sale from the CDL to the family, or to the family to the CDL if you're selling the family plan and that person has a CDL in the first place. And you should know that because you should be asking them questions before you go to sell them a family plan. So when you're going to make that sale, you should already know if that person's a driver and you were approaching them in the first place about the family plan, you should know when you having that conversation with them that they drive trucks, even if it wasn't a CDL sale, because you should be asking that person whether they have a family, what they do for a living. That's all part of the conversation that you're having with somebody before you make the sale anyway. So I want you guys to kind of prepare yourself for that, because you will make more sales that way. You'll make more money that way. And it prevents you from having to go back and back and back and back and back and sell again. If you can do some of that on that initial sale, even when it comes to selling the gun owner supplement, same thing. Know how to transition that sale when it's important. Now, for me personally, I normally only do the gun owner supplement. I only offer that. I don't sell a lot of them, but I only offer that when it's an owner operator, because it tends to be an issue, and Sharana can speak to this as well. She's had this issue. It seems to be a challenge or an issue for a driver to be carrying a weapon when they're driving for somebody else. So I don't normally offer it to a driver that drives for a company, but I will offer it to an owner operator. So I just want you guys to just keep in mind and understand that when you're going to offer that gun supplement, make sure you offer it to a driver who owns their own vehicle, where they have a right to carry in the vehicle that they own as an owner operator. But those are just some ways that I transition that sale. I'm gonna turn it over to Sharana so she can talk about maybe some ways that she does the same thing.
Well, when I'm field training, a lot of times the field trainers, the associates have talked more about, of course, the CDLP plan. So, and a lot of times when we're talking to owners, they are they're more open to pay for the CDL plan. That's just how it works for us. But the associate can come back and sell that legal plan, and they could have what we call a sister account, but that's in a training itself when you're talking with a field trainer. So we won't go into that here. But for me, for a lot of them, and I'm looking at George, because George is right here in my face, but most of the time, associates are taught to prospect with Lamar script, and Lamar scripts focus mostly on the CDL plan, because we're fighting DOT violations. So the conversation is normally about the DOT violations. When I'm prospecting, though, when I'm talking to, because I'm talking to the owner, and so I'm definitely talking about the small business plan and the CDL plan, because to right now we're talking about the company, not him personally, not the drivers. We're not one-on-one with the drivers. But me personally, when I'm prospecting my own clients, and say I was just talking to the small business owner, one thing I don't do a lot of when I'm prospecting, I don't make it separate. I don't talk a lot of ands. I don't talk like that. The only way at the end of my sale, of my conversation, I let them know that our billing office separates that bill. So they may see two charges because some people think it's like that. And, you know, they'll see the $29.95 or they'll see the $21.95. But I don't really make it a two-product thing. I make it one because like we learn in group, you know, employee benefits, you know, when we talk about the personal plan, we're talking about keeping the driver focused, right? You know, reducing absenteeism, those things that we hear. And that small business, not the small, but the legal plan, the personal plan helps with that. And so what it does is it, you know, it gives them the ability to have the access for the spouse at home. It gives them the ability to have coverage at 24/7. Just because they're a CDL driver, that doesn't say they can't use that 24-hour emergency button. If they have the plan, they can use that. You know what I'm saying? So we have to be careful to say and understand that when we're selling that legal plan, if they have it, they can use it, whether they're a CDL driver or not. They can use the personal plan if they have the coverage. Now, of course, the CDLP plan by itself doesn't give them the 24-hour emergency access. So that's what you have to be careful to let them know. You won't talk to a transportation attorney after 5, but you'll talk to your personal state attorney if something happens after 5. And all this is communication. So, and that's knowing your plan. So, you know, if you know your plan, you're able to talk about those things. And so therefore, that gives that driver all the coverage he needs, you know, because he has the personal and he has the CDL. Well, when it comes to the gun owner coverage, a lot of insurance companies, you know, well, I'll say a lot of insurance companies, but I say some of the insurance companies, you know, have this thing about them having a firearm, you know, on them in the truck. But a lot of companies have it in their policies and procedures that, you know, they can't have those firearms in there. So, of course, a CDL holder can have a firearm. It's just a matter of them having it in the truck. So it just depends on the company's policy and procedure because, you know, they may own a gun. I own a gun. If I go get my CDLs, I might just can't put it in that truck, right? So that's the difference, you know. So you still can sell them that gun owner supplement for whenever he's carrying, but it doesn't necessarily have to be when he's in that truck because most companies' policies are that they can't have that firearm in that truck. And some insurance also, you know, doesn't allow that either. So, you know, but if they carry, you can sell it to them, like Dunbar said. That's cross-selling, you know. The HPS was one of my biggest supplements that I used to cross-sell in CDL. And I still do because a lot of truckers have tax problems. They don't like to pay their taxes. They make a whole lot of money and they don't pay their taxes. So they find themselves in you know, having problems with taxes. And so, you know, just knowing your plan and what they do and how they can help the industry that you're prospecting, and we're talking about the commercial industry here, will help you sell a lot of different plans. You know, we don't talk a lot about ID Shield, you know, but, you know, I focus on that driver's license. They can't afford to have anybody to take their identity because that's how they earn a living. So, you know, it still goes back to just knowing your plan and who you're talking to and asking the right questions. So back over to you, Dunbar.
So, hold on.
I was going to address Kelly Clark's question. Because she said, do you drop by to book the appointment or call when we was talking about the small business plan? She said, I'm finding not a lot of luck with cold calling. Well, I mean, Kelly Clark, I've been prospecting my business for the last 2 years from the house. Ever since we've been in COVID, I earned a 50K ring from the house. Doing cold call. A lot of people do cold call. So I would advise you maybe to get with a field trainer to help you with that. I mean, most likely is what you're saying. And but when we were out in the community, it was the same conversation it was on the phone. We just switched it to the phones. So it's a little bit harder to build relationships sometimes, but the goal is always to set the appointment. Will you have somebody that say they want to talk now? Absolutely. And you have to be ready for that. So maybe you need to connect with a field trainer that can assist you if you want to make dials. Okay? Because there's a lot of people doing it. And, you know, it's a skill you have to learn. And have to have some tough skin to do cold calling.
That's for sure. So let me ask you a couple questions to make sure we clarify some of the stuff you said when you were talking. So in the beginning, so in other words, what you're saying is you bundle from the beginning. You don't even let them know that there's a CDL plan and a family plan, and one costs this, one costs other. You kind of bundle that conversation together and let them know that they can be billed separately. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
With my prospects, when I'm leading, but when I'm field training, like I said, most people have led with Lamar Script, and Lamar Scripts leads with the CDL plan. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's what we're talking about. The CDL plan, we're talking about the violations. We're talking to the owner, right? And he don't care if that, well, he cares about the focus, right? You know, the driver being productive, reducing absenteeism. But whatever else he got going on at the house, he really is not concerned about that, right? So those are the points you can't bring up to him, right? You might say, you know, you want your driver's focus. We got things. One question I do ask an owner when we're on the phone when I'm field training is, have you ever had to let a driver go because of child support? Did he lose his license and you had to let him go because of child support? And probably every time I ask that question, I'll say, I don't know, 2 or 3 of them gonna say, yeah. Especially a small company. That's one of the main questions I ask. And I say, well, we do have a product. I say our product will help with that. Again, I try not to do the and thing. But again, most owners are focused on their company, and so they will pay for that CDL. It's hardly ever paying for a combo. Now they'll let you talk to the drivers and offer that. But yeah.
Okay. So that's the bundle conversation. You also mentioned about the emergency button, because that's always got a little bit of confusion there. So I mentioned about using that button. You can use the emergency button with the family plan, but not on CDL issues. So are you saying the same thing I'm saying, or are you saying?
But let's say though, like Arjun guy.
Mm-hmm.
Arjun had a driver that had an accident early in the morning. Driver, the person, tailed in his truck moved, man threw out the truck and he landed back in the road. Arjun driver ran over him. And that was before the world it was like 5 a.m. He was able to call his state attorney. He's still a member, even though it's a CDL issue. He's still a member. Do you really think that, I don't know you guys, I'm gonna say Dem and Parker, right? The law firm this man is distraught. He's upset. He just hit somebody. He's in his truck, but he still got the legal plan. It's a 24 emergency access.
And I agree. I agree with you on that, because to me, that's not a CDL issue. It's just an emergency. It's just the guy was in a CDL, but it wasn't like, it's not, that's that kind of situation to me is fine. And this is just me personally. Right. That situation to me, it doesn't matter whether you have a CDL or not a CDL, that's still the same charge.
Right. He's a member. Right. He's an individual who's probably scared to death. You know how it is when it's not an emergency. I don't know if you guys ever called and it wasn't an emergency, but this is what happened when it's not an emergency then. you need to call the next business day because that is not an emergency. That's what they say.
Right.
I mean, I had somebody just say that this week. You know, they called, but I've called. I called with my god sister. When it's not considered an emergency, they tell you to call the next business day. Do you really think the law firm would have told that gentleman that? No. He had the plan. He had a, you know what I'm saying? Then like he called, I don't know who he would call. He ain't got no emergency number on the CDL, but he had a personal plan.
Uh-huh.
Called the state attorney. He's
So,
an individual.
and I think for me, I got in the habit of saying that too. What we talking about now, and this is why it's a good conversation, because I would have people call because they got an OSS.
No.
I mean, an
They
OS.
got-
I'm sorry, not OS. OS.
I know what you're saying. Oh,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's I'm calling this emergency. They're telling me I can't pull off unless, and it's like that's a CDL issue. You cannot call the emergency law firm and say, "Hey, I got an OS," and the officer is telling me I can't leave the scene.
And you broke the law. That's why you can't move. That's why you can't move. You broke the law.
Right. Exactly.
You broke the law.
Exactly.
You can't go nowhere. That's why you there.
Yeah.
But I know what you're saying, you know, but what they tell us, I remember when we first got started with Legal Shield, a man, his wife, 10 o'clock at night, I want a divorce. And he thought law firm, my wife want a divorce. That is not an emergency, sir.
Right.
It's an emergency to him, but it's not an emergency to our law firm. I remember that story.
Good stuff. So Sharon said, "What's an OOS?" And I know she's asking that question because she know other people don't know. So she's asking us to say that. So when I'm saying OOS, I mean out of service. So when you hear us talking about OOS, that's when the driver gets put out of service because they got pulled over, or whatever was going on where the officer stopped the vehicle, or there's some kind of inspection going on, and the officer says you can't leave this scene until you get X thing fixed, right?
You drove over your hours of service and you can't move for 10 hours.
Right. So if that happens to a driver and they're a CDL and a family plan holder, they can't use the emergency button and call and say that that's an emergency because the officer won't let them pull off, because at the end of the day, they, like Trina said, they broke the law, for one. And two, that's not an emergency because you can't get to your next destination at the time you're supposed to. That's not an emergency for a lawyer, right? That's something that driver has to take up with that company based on whatever that scenario is. That's been my situation with it. So when I'm saying that you can't use the emergency service for CDL, I really should be clarifying that differently and saying it, like going into detail, because a person may consider, oh, I ran somebody over in my truck and I can't call because I got a CDL and I did it in my truck. And that's not the case, because that's a criminal offense that has nothing to do with CDL. It's involuntary manslaughter or whatever they're gonna write that up as. And that's what that emergency access is for. So I'm glad you mentioned that so that we could, bring that clarity for the people who don't know the difference, maybe new people that's been along with me, and they're just not saying it, they're not fully saying it out so that it's understood better. It was something else you said in your talk.
Wait a minute. And Elmer, he said if they don't have the family plan, yes, they will send him away. He wouldn't have the number anyway, Elmer. Right? I mean, if he ain't got the plan, he won't have the number. So, that's just FYI,
Yeah. And just make sure y'all know that. Like,
and if he canceled the personal plan, you're right. They will send him away. But I just I don't know the scenario to that, but we're talking with the individual, because we're not gonna do all these scenarios. We're talking with the person that has the CDL plan and a legal plan. A driver that has a CDL plan and a legal plan, and about this 24 emergency button.
So the last thing that you mentioned that I wanted to bring up again, because again, it's all about clarity. Because I made a statement, but then you came in and you said, well, you can boom, 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 boom. And it's right, it's about clarity. So I typically, typically don't market the gun owner supplement to somebody that drives for somebody. But what I hadn't thought about was what you said. Well, that guy or that man or that woman is carrying a gun, whether they drive it or not. If they have the right to carry a gun, we're not encouraging them to carry it in that vehicle when the company they drive for has it in their procedures and policy and procedures that they can't. Well, what about when they're not driving? What about if that driver lives in Texas and they just carry a gun anyway? Because people in Texas, they carry a gun everywhere. Right? So if you're in Texas and you just carry a gun, you may want to have that plan anyway. And I hadn't really thought about that because I try not to, especially in a group setting.
I honestly, me personally, that's not on my group. I don't offer that that's not one of the options on my group.
Yeah. And honestly, I'm the same way because I don't want the owner of that company thinking, why are you even mentioning the gun owner supplement to them? That's making them think it's okay to carry a gun. And then I know what's going to happen with that company. And if they use their weapon, how they have to deal with that too. What the insurance company might say, blah, blah, blah. So I don't, but I still in my mind, I think it's important to understand what you just said. Maybe I need to have that conversation with them. Hey, I know you can't carry a gun in a vehicle, so I'm not selling it to you for that, but you carry a gun. And if something was to happen, you want to make sure that you have our same lawyers protecting you on that as well, and then have that conversation with them. So no, that's definitely a good angle. So I'm glad you brought that up for the people, for everybody listening, so that they understand that there's a way to position it and make that sale, and don't make them think that you're saying it's okay for them to carry that weapon while they're driving a vehicle and they work for a company who does not want them carrying while they're driving.
Because you always talk to your members afterwards for whatever reason, right? Whether you're talking about perks or, just checking in with them. And if they got your card or they don't receive the email or anything from you, your website might be on there. Some people are curious. Everybody just don't, adhere to what you say. They go and research themselves. So they might run up on that themselves. So, it's just something for my business, because we can't offer that in group. So let's not get that twisted, right? I mean, we just had a phenomenal training, after the Glitz the other day, how Jennifer uses it, to upsell in her groups. But it's just for me, for my groups, I just hadn't added it into my offering, when I'm sitting down with a decision maker. If they, I had a decision maker. You remember he had the carousel in his truck, his personal truck, and it was loaded with guns. And we were like, dude, you need our gun supplement, right? He was an owner. You remember he was that guy, he had that carousel in his truck. Yeah. He was like, he was going to shoot up some people. So, but I don't, honestly, on my offering for my group, that's not one of the supplements I put on there. That's just
gotcha.
Me.
Absolutely. So good stuff. So it is what, 9:30? Is it 9:30 exactly? Yeah, 9:31. All right, so we're gonna be closing out here because it's 9:31. Remember, Sharanda Ivy has a Thursday evening accountability call for CDL. So if you are looking to move forward and making some sales and you're ready to start calling, or you're already calling but you feel like you call them by yourself, keep in mind that you can get on that call on Thursday nights and get some accountability. And it's a different setup, guys. So this is us talking to you guys. That is about you all, more or less about you, the people who are out in the field. So get involved in that. Remember, May 21st, Alan Roman, John Hoffman will be training. That is going to be our monthly CDLP certification training for the month of May. So make sure you get registered for that. And I will throw that in the chat so that you guys can access that here. Anything else you want them to know, Sharanda, before we close out?
No, I mean, if you haven't heard John train, John has a good training on research as well. He goes a little bit more in depth in FMCSA. And it's really helpful. It just gives you more conversations, this is about building relationships. You don't have to know everything about everything when it comes to that safer report. Alan, Chris, and a lot of others are examples of that. But if you are a person who just don't know how to start the conversation and you just need a little help in talking to the people, research is really important. But if you don't feel like you need that and you can maneuver through that conversation yourself, go for it. But John will give you some extra tips on how to definitely just learn a little bit more about companies that you're prospecting so you can have some more conversations. Not to point the finger, not to whip them with a belt, slap them or anything like that with the information that you got. But just to have some more, I promise you, it brings the confidence when you know that these people, they need you. So when they say no, the no doesn't sting as bad. You just come back another time when they having a better day because they need us. They just don't know it. They don't understand. They don't understand the laws or what's going on in the trucking company. Not that they're ugly or they think they're good. They just don't know. They honestly don't when you're looking at that report. But John will give you some more information. He does a good job of digging a little bit more into FMCSA and for the fines and things like that. People that really, really have paid the price and still the doors are open.
Hey, Daryl, I see you asking about the annual. I'm trying to pick a date. I called a couple of the other trainers and they weren't able to get on on certain Mondays because they have something else going on. Also, with the young lady who trains, who does the kind of the same thing that Sharanda does with helping companies with when they're dealing with audits and stuff like that. She's been in and out of town and traveling. I've been trying to get her on as well too, so we can have just different perspectives and have more people on the training. So I was supposed to be doing it this month. I may still be able to squeeze it in this month, but it's hard for me to get it in the way I want because of other stuff that's going on. It is going to be on a Monday night. I was going to try to change the date for it to be able to fit it in, but I think it's better to do it on a Monday because everybody's used to getting on a Monday anyway. So if we do it on a Monday, it fits the people's schedule who are already on. So just give me a week or two. We definitely doing the annual. I've been making some calls to people about getting on, and we are going to be having it. And it is going to be about the same length. And it's going to be a lot of good information between an hour and a half and 2 hours of just us really getting down and dirty into what you need to be doing to be successful in this space. So thanks for asking that, Daryl. I'm also dropping in the chat for those that need to have it, the link to the certification training. So if you don't know how to get there, I just posted it, just click it, and then it's going to ask you to log into your LS Engage and you'll be able to get in right there. So appreciate you guys. Oh, go ahead, Sharanda.
No, I was just going to say the accountability link is still on the Facebook page. I don't know how you get, because they don't have announcements anymore, do they? They don't have announcements.
No, they don't. But if they scroll down, this is what I would suggest. Go to the Facebook page and type in welcome, like you're searching for welcome. And then you're going to see a couple of different things pull up, obviously. But one of them is going to be a colorful image of a welcome sign, and that's Sharanda's post, and it's going to say it was by Sharanda, and it's going to say welcome, and you'll know that that's it. And then also, if somebody can, because there's always somebody that's helpful in doing that, just go there if you know where it's at, and just type in there something so that it goes back up to the top. It'll go right back up to the top of the page, and people will be able to see it right there. So just tag Sharanda in it, or John or me or any other trainer, just tag us on it when you do it, and that'll make it go to the top. That way the new people can see it who need to be able to see it as well. So
you have to sign up there because it's set up with MailChimp, and somebody does that for me now. So they'll send you out a link on that post, and you just save the link because I'm lazy. I'm not going to change it. So don't look for an email every week. Get that first one. Better hold on to it.
That's funny. And also Sylvester Thompson asked where can you find the Lamar Reynolds script. That's going to be on the Facebook page, and just go to file section. So when you go to that page, there's gonna be 3 dots in the upper right-hand side of the screen. Probably mid-page on the right-hand side, 3 little dots. When you click them, it's gonna give you some options. One of them is gonna say files. Click on files, and there's a ton of files there, but just put the word script in there when you search, and then it'll pull up. I think it says L. I don't think it says Lamar Reynolds. I think it says L Reynolds script, and you'll be able to pull it there as well. And again, if somebody can be helpful, just go to the page and just just say something on it, and it'll go right to the top, and then anybody looking for it, it'll be right there. So,
I
guys, we
take that back.
appreciate
I'm not
Go ahead.
lazy. So I take that back. I'm not lazy. I'm just busy. I'm not gonna send out another email though.
And she's not busy either. She's productive. So that's where it's at. She's not busy. She's productive. So we appreciate you guys all being with us again this week. You guys will be getting some emails from us. Hopefully you guys are enjoying our weekly CDLP episodes, sales motivation episodes. If you need the replays, go to the YouTube page. Plus I send an email every week with a link with a playlist for all the replays. So remember, if you're saying, hey, I'm looking for a specific replay, if you go to the email that says CDL replay, there's a video there. That's a playlist, guys. That's not one video. So when you click that, it's going to open up the entire playlist on YouTube, and you'll see every episode from episode 2 all the way down to 86 or 87. So we appreciate
y'all get some kudos to Dunbar for doing that, man. That takes a lot of skill, a lot of time, and know-how. Y'all give him some kudos for doing that for y'all, because who gonna do that? Who got time to do that? Dunbar doing that for y'all. He got those skills. You know how to do that. Y'all need to tell him thank you, because that's huge. That is huge.
I appreciate that.
Huge. Man,
I appreciate that.
Can you teach me how to do that?
You said what?
Teach me how to do that.
Yeah,
I'm just saying that's huge though. That's his time. That's huge. And so definitely, and the Facebook page, the postings, the recording, all that's Dunbar. Us trainers, we don't take no credit for none of that stuff right there. That is all Dunbar. So y'all need to give him some kudos. Y'all need to give him some love and some respect, because he made this happen every single week. And I mean, we didn't have his platform before he started this, so and he keeps making it better, right? Like, it can't get any better. So y'all, man. But anyway, the Blitz. He didn't mention the Blitz. You didn't mention the Blitz. The Blitz
yeah. Go ahead. For tomorrow morning.
Yep. Get on the Blitz, guys. Make your dials. If you don't have any other time during the week, just set that time aside, or create your own Blitz. I know a lot of people work, so just create your own Blitz. Get on Zoom with somebody and do it. And you'll be amazed at how that helps. So
good stuff. No, this is good. So appreciate you guys again. Thank you guys so much, and thanks Sharanda for that. So Sharanda's gonna be doing that with all her stuff here in the next couple of months, and y'all gonna see her YouTube channel pop up. All of that's gonna happen, because she giving out some good information on Thursday. She giving out some good information for logistics in general. So we're gonna need her to be live with her thing. Wanda Bell, did that 5 inboxes, did that multiple inboxes help you if you're still there? I don't know whether you're still there or not. I know you got asked her. Did it? Good stuff.
Yes, thank you.
Yep. Good. Glad it was able to help you. So you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Ladies, it's still Mother's Week. It's still Mother's Week. So I feel some of y'all pain, because every one of my kids came to me at about 14 or 15. So I got my last one now at 15 about 3 weeks ago. So I have him to 18. So I know what y'all go through only for the last 3 or 4 years of the full-time period. So I feel you. So it's definitely a major change when them kids, when you're the custodial parent. So kudos to all the moms that's doing. I sent the post out. You're working, you're taking care of the family, you're doing all the different stuff you're doing, and it is difficult to run a business, have a full-time job, and be a mom all at the same time. right? And then some of your husbands too. I mean, wives too. So you're a wife, a mother, got a full-time job, and you run the business. So I mean, that's a lot of juggling. So we appreciate you guys. So happy Mother's Day, happy Mother's Week to you guys. We definitely appreciate everything you guys are doing.
Thank
Absolutely.
you. Same to you. Thank you for all you do. Appreciate you.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Yes, yes. Happy Mother's Day to all.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Thanks so
much.
much. It's a heck of a program tonight. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, you got it.
Yes, thank you, everybody.
Look at Dunbar. You need to connect with Louise Bates. Look how she changed her screen to say thank you.
I don't see her. Where's
Y'all
she at?
so skilled, man. I tell y'all some skills.
Yeah,
Where
that's
you at,
beautiful.
Louise? I don't see it. Let me see.
It say thank you.
Let me see her. Let me see her gallery view.
I mean, she got the
Awesome,
she got the expensive
pen
pen
right
and everything.
Oh, boy.
Oh yeah,
And she clapping, and she clapping.
So what she did was she pulled the image up. She pulled that image and then she dropped it as her Zoom background.
The
Yes, I love
background.
Right,
Man,
and
y'all
then she
so
put a
you.
clap in there.
y'all so
Good
skilled,
stuff.
man. Y'all need to
Got
get
skills.
together.
It's
Yeah,
Right.
not
technology,
always about
man.
CDLP.
Wow,
There you go.
that's skills right there, man. I tell
Yes.
you.
Yes,
Mhm.
Great.
absolutely. Oh, we got a truck there
And
now?
now she has a truck.
She
Oh,
look good.
You
geez.
better work it, girl.
Hey, look at her showing off.
Hey, everyone.
Dunbar, you better look her up, man. She can assist you there, man.
Cool.
That is
That's
too
cool,
funny.
real cool.
I
All
love it.
right. Well, y'all have a
You got-
good week.
Thank you,
Y'all
Miss
too.
Ivy, and thank
God
you,
bless.
Mr.
Thanks
Dunbar.
again, y'all.
You
All right, you
welcome.
got
Right.
it.
Thank you.
See everybody next week.
Everybody.
All
Yeah.
righty. Kudos to John.
Good
What's
night,
his name?
everybody.
John
Thank
Hoffman
you.
and Amin. They're gonna get the replay.
Oh, the
yeah.
ladies too that were that were enrolling in the business summit who haven't yet. I sent the email out for Mother's Week with a discount. So if you if you haven't registered and you're going to register, use that link because it's a bigger discount.
What you talking about?
I don't even know what you're talking about. Well, I'll just replay the tape.
You said what?
That
Yeah,
must
replay
have
the
been a
tape.
miss. That must have been a miss because I was doing my final workout and missing some of it, but walking and hearing it. So that must have been something that I missed. But I'm gonna do a replay. I'll do a replay anyway. Thank you so much, y'all.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
I'll catch up. I'll play catch up.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I sent the replays out. So week 1, 2, and 3 is out there, and the video that Harold Branch shot on maximizing your moments. That video is on the CDL Facebook page, and I sent it out to people. It's just a 10-minute training that Harold Branch did on being, focusing on what you're doing right now, right? If you're making your calls, make your calls, right? When you stop and you go to make dinner, make your dinner. When you're with your kids, be with your kids, right? So that's trained on maximizing your moments. So make sure you look at that. It's only I think it's an 11, 12-minute video or something like that, 13 minutes or something like that. So take a look at it.
All right.
All right, guys.
All right, Dunbar, have a good one.